Okay. Maybe good.
Yep.
Okay.
There are some copies for the posted board member, the board meeting. Some of you folks have it?
Yes.
Okay. If you're alive, raise your hand. I love it. I got some people still alive.
Hang on a second. We didn't have a sign-in sheet to speak. Does anybody want to speak at the meeting? Come on.
Let's go.
This?
Okay. This is the first. That's why I said, come on. Nobody wants to speak?
Oh my god.
Seriously. Come on. All right. Go, wait a minute.
Where's the security?
Where? He's coming. He's lost. I think he went to Ridge Harbor.
We're not paying.
Okay, nobody wants to publicly speak. So I didn't have a sign-up sheet. Okay, that's good. Carry on. Wow. That is a first.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Second verse, very different than the first, but no sweat. We're 12:05. We're opening the board open meeting for February the 24th of 2024. This is, and looking at the previous minutes, it's not been identified, but there is a requirement by state law for at least an annual board meeting. This one's identified as the annual board meeting. On the agenda that you've got, one of the elements down there is going to be talking about planning future board member meetings as we go. And we had input from quite a few different people. We're going to synthesize that in discussion and go to potentially, because we have some people that are working, they're still working, you know, the younger crew, right, that still working. It's difficult typically to get to meetings during the week. However, for AWR and things like that, that works best for them. But we should still honor the fact that we should have meetings, some of them on the Saturdays, so people can have the choice to get to all of those. So what we're talking about is doing a little bit of a synthesis between quarterly information meetings that are open board meetings, and 2 in that quarter will be working meetings that are typically happening during the week, so we can get that kind of stuff happening. So it's going to be a synthesis. One of the open board meetings on a Saturday is actually going to be addressed. It's going to be a requirement for a formal special members meeting. And the reason why it's being addressed here, we were talking about it, we're going to be talking about several different committees being organized. And I think that's great because that gets involvement with the brainiacs and the people that are doing admin, getting it together. So the idea is that one of the activities that is a must for us to do is what's going to be called a bylaws restatement committee. And the bylaws restatement, when we use that phrase, that means that's an incorporation of all the previous amendments. It's a scrub through everything, and it's a blessing that has to come from the membership for that.
Hey,
okay? Yes.
You might want to stick to the agenda because we're
Good.
if you don't mind.
Good.
No, yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying. Let's call the meeting.
Call the order.
Thank you.
May cases.
Yeah.
And the
Where do I keep public comment?
exactly. Good. So the roll call.
Yeah, roll call. Go ahead.
If I may. So we have 4 members of the board present and 1 vacant seat. So the public comments are the next. We'll sit down and we'll go from there.
I don't think we had anybody sign up, so
No.
that's what we just
Okay.
talked about.
With your permission, since we don't have formal public comments, I'm going to address a livid problem that I've had with this in the last year. House Bill 2840 clearly states that by Texas law of public meetings, the members are authorized and required to have the opportunity to make comments. Lloyd Gosling, in support of the previous staff who did not want to have discussion happening during discussion of any one of the articles, they kowtowed to them. The state law is clear. The state law says that comments must be handled, public comments, before a decision on an activity.
An action.
So the difference is that there will be in the future a rewrite of the policy that was written in 2019 and signed off by Joe Jimenez. So we will have in the future public comment that are on general subjects at this point. Those are subjects that are not identified on the agenda. And during each one of the agenda items, there will be the privilege of the comment sign up for discussion during that element, and that'll be identified on the comment sheet. And those will be heard before the board makes a decision concerning that article. Okay, that's just a shadowing. So we don't have any general comments now.
Everybody clear on that? So while we're discussing something, we will have general comments on it. Also, one of the things we want to do is look at number 14 on your agenda. We're gonna implement that during the year. Like, you can suggest things to be put on the agenda.
Yes.
Correct, yeah. So we're gonna hopefully enhance our website to allow you to put in a suggestion of a topic you want to talk about, and it'll make your agenda. So we kind of put this one on the agenda. Yeah, we kind of put this one on the agenda because it was sent to us, number 14, and we put it at the end for a particular reason. So, but we'll get to that at the very end. But we're going to allow that to have you submit ideas, suggestions to handle it. I'm sorry.
We're good.
Are you still putting his input in?
But again, it was a request.
Say
He was asking about, was he putting his input in? Yeah, we received this from him, and this was not even, it wasn't even appropriate, but we decided to put it on there. It's a formal request and issue to be placed on the annual or any board agenda. This was in your mailing packet. He sent it back to us, Mr. Jimenez did, so we're going to obligate it. We're going to put it on record so we don't get audited. And he comes back. We're going to address all this. This was the form that he sent in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
May I,
Yeah, go ahead.
May I address it? Within your packet,
Right.
did you as members receive?
Yeah, you should receive that.
You,
It was in
Yeah.
you didn't get it?
No.
You didn't
Okay.
get a blank
Yeah, you didn't get a
form
form
that
that
says
looks like
to
this.
request?
It was a blank form.
Yeah, it was a blank. Yeah, you could have sent it in.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
looking at that.
Yeah, this is the form that was in there, and it was blank, and you could have filled it out and sent it in.
And that was by Joe?
Yeah, Joe sent this one.
Nick,
That's fine.
Nick,
was his request?
Well, it's on 14. Look at 14 on the agenda.
Okay, that's,
Yeah, that's good. So we're going to make these available online. You can submit it before a meeting, and it might make the next meeting, might have to wait, and so on and so on. We want to get you guys more involved. So, there you go. Yeah.
30-second ad. This form came from another WSC firm, and it's really very, very good. Of my own precocity, I actually sent this out in your packet as a blank form. We're going to use this. This form will be an annex to the policy on open comments, so that you can actually ask for specific focus items for the board to handle. Okay, so you can see how we're putting some depth behind it. Yes, ma'am.
That's fine.
that's great. But I guess I have a question regarding that. When meetings are called 3 days before the meeting, you call the meeting 3 days before, how, are you guys gonna set out meetings so we know when the meetings are?
Yes,
like the
absolutely,
POAs?
yes.
Okay.
That's what we want to get to. We want to get to a set date on board meetings.
Weekends, so that everyone.
Yeah, well, it's on the agenda item today.
Right here.
So it's one of the things everybody's like, oh, there's gonna be a meeting at, 10 o'clock on a Thursday. I'm like, really? We're gonna talk about that today, setting the calendar for 2024 on a meeting so everybody knows about it. This form will be available online. You can submit it. It may make that agenda, it may not. Be patient with us, it's a new thing we're implementing. We hope all the new things we're implementing give us a little bit of patience while we work through it all, because there's a lot of shit that we've had to clean up. And this is one of them. We just want open communication with you people. Okay, and that's number 4. His items on here, if anybody's concerned, is item number 14. So, go ahead.
Item 3, public comment.
We actually do have a public comment.
Please.
If we could refrain from cursing, I get triggered sometimes.
PTSD?
That's a record.
Noted. Good.
Danny, I
I
haven't
don't-
spoken yet, so I'm
I
gonna
don't-
hold you to that.
I don't,
It goes both ways.
I get it.
The clock speaks.
Everybody,
Exactly.
keep it clean.
Item number 4, installation of board members. As per the bylaws, Article 8, we have the authority because we have a vacancy that, and by the bylaws, vacancies on the board that are not to be elected by the members, because we just did that, okay? The temporary filling is done by the board. So do we have nominations for anyone to fill
Okay, well,
the empty seat?
Yeah, first off, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the board. Get ready for, a ride. Well, let's not hope it's not a roller coaster anymore, Josie. Let's hope, the balloons are significant kind of thing, but welcome. We will enjoy both of your inputs, I know that, and your assistance, because you'll drink from the fire hose, believe me. We've been on it for, 10 months, and
You're not.
bam. Yeah, so,
And Judy attended the airport meeting.
Yeah.
She's ready.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me, guys, just for a point of order, I know going from one meeting into the other, a lot of things are already on your mind that they've been said. Would you read their names into this board meeting records
Sure.
as being accepted to the board?
I
Okay.
certainly will, yep.
Well, yeah, you did that earlier. Well, you did it at the annual meeting, but now we're going to.
But the point is correct. Usually, after there's an election, the first thing on the board is to talk about election and installation and what the votes were. The votes in these were, it basically says because there were thank you, no opposition. Both have been appointed, but exactly. So to position number 5, that's Julie Newman has been elected to that, and not appointed, elected,
For 2 years?
for a 2-year period.
Yes.
And the term by the bylaws starts with the annual meeting.
Today's date.
That's one of the clarification areas that needs to be in the bylaws, but it will start here. And by chapter 67 of the water code, the language there is fully appropriate, is that you will serve for approximately 2 years, and they will be from the election of the board to the board with the annual members meeting to the next annual members meeting. And it's proposed when we're doing the bylaws that we do that typically on the last Saturday of February. And so the idea is that number moves, that 365, 366 kind of things, so there will be 366 for this year.
But it's not going to move like 15,
That's
20,
correct.
30 days. It's going to move a
So
couple
it's
of
not
days
going to
because of the
shift
annual.
for manipulation in the past.
Right.
And for election for position 4, we have Ms. Judy Miller, and the resolution was read in the members meeting for that. So
Yeah.
Judy as well. Congratulations.
Yeah, to both of them.
Now, we do have a vacancy on, for the position 1, and so that you'll know, the position numbers it's sort of crazy. That's in, the position words are in the language only for the very, very big water companies, because some of those water companies are over regions, and so then they talk about positions being typically from a district, and so that they would have a representative from each one of them. They're moot in our situation, however, we're still going to use them. They're useless. They're just talking about a chair number, a blank chair.
Yeah.
So we have a blank chair in position 1, and by the bylaws, it's the authority of the board to fill that until the term finishes of the person who is being filled. And so position 1's term was initiated on April the 15th. But it's terminating, and it would have terminated potentially April the 15th of next year, but because of the resignation and because of the bylaws work, we're going to say that the temporary position coming in will serve until the next annual meeting.
Around this time next year, 2025, basically. Yeah, so it's a 1-year term.
So we have a nomination.
Do we have volunteers out there?
Yeah,
I would like to nominate Patty Plunker.
Yes.
okay. Do we have a second?
Second?
Is she okay with that? You may want to ask the candidate first.
It's $2.99 on my bucket list. I guess I'm gonna
Okay.
skip over 1 through 288. and go to 299.
So, is there anybody else who would like to step forward?
I'm not stepping forward, but I do have a question for Renee. My reading of the bylaws, I guess it is that if you're replacing a person, that person is there for the duration of the replacee's term.
Yes.
So now you mentioned, so this is until April, or is it until the next annual meeting?
Next annual meeting
So this person will stay in the position
for 1 year.
for
Yeah.
1 year.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
for
all.
1 year.
And Brian, your point is absolutely on point. Si je peux. The idea is that the bylaws that currently that we have, okay, are so muddled that the restatement of bylaws will make this blatantly clear. So it's just for foreshadowing now that it will be using from election term of members meetings to members meeting. And so that's what, but again, it could be argued until the restatement is affirmed, but either way, the plan is at least for that. Great point. Hearing discussion, do we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, opposed? Hearing none, as I heard some.
Welcome, Patty.
You get to work with WOWSC for another 5 years.
1 year.
That lady walking.
Been there. Well, that's the way.
Great.
That's what you get.
The next item is officer election. Discussion and action to elect board officers, including the president, vice president, secretary, to serve from February 2024 until the 2025 annual members meeting. So, Brian, I'm picking up some of the work that you were talking there, trying to foreshadow that. So, the first position typically is looking for a president. So
Wait,
do we
can
have-
I-
Yes,
can I-
sir.
Can I,
Yeah.
I know our bylaws say secretary and treasurer. Is there a way we can split those into? You are overworked, my
Yeah. Yeah.
You are overworked, and you've done an
Good.
excellent job
Well,
of keeping it up.
As you might suspect, I've thought about this, and I do believe that we should not split them. And the reason why we should not split them is because the two roles, that's a heavy administrative load, they weave together. However, I do believe that since our bylaws authorize multiples of this, we need to have assistant secretary treasurers. And so if we're putting those resources in parallel rather than serial, I think it's going to be better for getting the job together. And it's already something that's in our bylaws.
Okay, why don't you
So
do
I'm going to be
that?
talking about assistant secretary treasurers in the future.
No more medical leave for you then.
That's right. But the,
No more medical leave. Don't let me bullshit about your stints or anything else like that, my friend.
yeah, exactly.
You know, so, because you're working until 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting emails from
Around
you.
the block. We're good. Let's
So,
just,
okay.
I just timed the answer. So do we have a nomination?
I nominate Julie to be the president. You've got experience being the president of the POA board. I think probably would be a great asset for this.
Would you talk to your experience serving on a board and?
Well, I think
in that
everybody in
role?
here knows I served as the president on the POA board, so. And I'm good at troubleshooting, that's my main talent that I do with my full-time job, so I definitely know that we need a lot of troubleshooting in what we're doing here to get us out of the mess that we're in.
Okay, so we have a nomination. Do we have a second for the nomination?
Can I make that second?
I'll make a second.
You need the presentation.
A great question, but we're going to use Robert's rules, and Robert's rules is the nomination. The second is mixing up. It's only determining that there are at least 2 people interested in what's happening. So good. So the second is done. Do we have other nominations?
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a good point.
So hearing none.
Yeah.
Are you going to the next position?
We have to vote.
We have to vote on that first.
Oh, we have to vote.
Yeah.
Well, is there anybody else? No? Okay. Let's put it up for vote. No discussion on it?
And voting in approval of Julie to be our president for the board.
Aye.
Good. So
Well, there you go.
the next one is.
Turn over the notepad.
Yeah.
We
But
don't know that.
the next position open is vice president, and I'd like to just to pick.
Really?
This is exactly. You're not getting off. And in fact, I want to bring into the record that in the past, vice presidents have basically been useless. Look at the U.S. vice president. I didn't say that. I did not say that. But
What about our past vice president of the board?
well, again, but I do want to modify, because our bylaws just talk about if the absence of the president, the vice president takes over. I want the vice president to have a primary role, and I want to use this in the future. And I'd like to be able to put this into the bylaws when we get to it. I'd like to see the vice president taking a strong lead role in operations. The state law says that the president is the chief administrative officer, if I'm not incorrect, correct, Patty? Absolutely. The president is identified by Texas law as the chief administrative officer of an organization. And so the idea is that if we have somebody that's focused on operations, I think it does everybody good and the organization. So that's based on the blood, sweat, and toil that you put in the past as well as in the future, sir. Good. So there's a nomination for vice president, strong in operations. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, great. Do we have any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Patty as vice president.
Okay.
Turn her face.
Okay. So we have.
Was that 301 on your bucket list?
I'll tell you what. Empty? Yeah. I'll let, no thank you. Thank you, but no thank you.
Okay.
I'm better,
Tactical,
yeah.
which is what you are.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys in mind. How about that?
Director, please, our parliamentarian.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank
Oh,
you.
there's a lot of committees.
Good.
Believe me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Based upon that, sincerely, understand. So, in favor of Jeff being our VP and focusing on operations, in favor? Good. Okay. Good. The third.
I'll deal with you after this.
He can beat me up. The third officer position is for the secretary treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Judy.
I second that.
Thanks. Not Patty. What is the next?
Well, I like to keep it with Renee. Just no offense, Judy.
None taken, none taken.
He's for right now, he knows where all the chaos is.
With all due respect.
Oh, you really?
He wants
Yes,
assistance.
exactly. Now, what I do want to do instead is that I would like to, I've got something else to talk about immediately.
Okay,
So
I
we
know
have
where
a-
you're going with it. I totally know where you're going.
Exactly. We
I
got
know
a
where you're going with it.
nomination.
Got
Well,
it.
we're
Wait
doing
a
it,
second.
I mean, honestly, the secretary is really just doing the minutes, right, and the
Yeah.
agendas. I mean, why can't you, I mean, you've done a good job, but maybe pass that on to Judy?
100%.
And just become the assistant.
No, we're on the same sheet.
Okay.
So
Just could be the assistant treasurer.
Give us 45 seconds
Okay.
and you'll have
I thought you
some.
said you wanted to do both, so that's perfect.
No.
So we have a nomination, Judy.
Do our bylaws allow for us to separate
Can I
those two?
make a comment? I know.
Interesting.
No, but our new bylaws would allow us to.
The new bylaws would, they don't, and interesting enough, that I don't like the way 67 puts them together forever as well. But if we do parallel, and so let's do this. With that discussion, do we have a vote of affirmation?
So wait a minute, you're declining.
I decline.
Okay, so, okay.
So in favor of Judy being.
What is the motion on the floor right now? Someone
That's
repeat that point.
just nominating Judy to be the secretary treasurer
Okay.
of the WSC
Okay.
board.
Is there a second?
The second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good.
Done.
Now, since we're talking about roles on the board, I'm going to throw my hat in to be an assistant secretary treasurer.
Perfect.
Oh, we have to have that on the agenda. Is it on the agenda?
Yeah, it was down.
Well, actually, we could say we go back to,
The finance committee.
yeah, we could do it in finance committee as well.
Signature authority. Thought we put that
Because
somewhere.
the assistant secretary treasurer does not need to be a board member.
Doesn't, but we need to have it on the agenda and vote on it.
That's correct. That's
So-
correct.
Gonna
Okay,
keep you
let's-
guys on the straight.
Yeah, let's just
You
table
have
it
to
till
have it
next
on the
meeting.
agenda. to
Table it
vote
till
on
next
it.
meeting.
Next meeting.
Yeah, we'll just table it.
I'm
till
sure things will be okay until the next meeting.
next- Yeah,
Okay?
which will be in a couple of weeks. We're gonna try to get it.
We'll work together.
Just
I
wanna,
hope so,
We
'cause
will.
it's almost scary out
No,
here.
we will work together, no doubt, no doubt. Good, okay. I sit corrected.
We got more people looking at.
So the officer election has been concluded, moving down to establishment of committees.
Can you just restate who they are?
Yes, for the record, the president is Julie Newman, vice president is Jeff Walker, secretary treasurer is Judy Miller. And the three of you are elected to serve from this election until, wait, that's incorrect. It's until the 2026 annual members meeting, because you served 2 years.
Served 30 years.
Yeah, exactly, so there's a typo in mine.
Yeah, it should be from 2026.
To 2026.
It's 1 year, because next year, the annual meeting here, it's select officers.
Yeah, we're gonna select officers. No,
Oh,
you're right.
thank you, that's correct.
That was-
I only thought I was wrong.
Yeah.
So establishment of committees. Okay, so the credentials committee, as per the procedure that has been elected, that has been signed off for the election procedures, credentials committee is to be established at the members meeting, and by the way it's written, the secretary treasurer is the supervisor of the credentials. Another board member is allowed, but under, the law says under no circumstances will there be 3 board members on it. But,
so wait, are we having a discussion right here?
yes. Oh, we're just opening it up.
Are
Go
we
ahead.
on item 6?
Item 6A.
Okay, so if we can open this up for
Please.
discussion.
Yes.
While we are a WSC nonprofit, and yeah, you can have ad hoc committees, we are subject to the Texas Open Meetings Act, which is Government Code 551.
Yes.
And because of that, the committees are defined as 2 board members having to sit on a committee. So we might want to check that, because that might mean that has the right to make decisions, or it is all encompassing, or ad hoc included. So we just want to make sure that when we're setting up our committees, that we know for sure it's only one, because I think it's actually, it's a requirement.
Only one what?
What, because you have here one board member.
Oh, yeah, I understand. And that was
I'm pretty sure.
Merritt's discussion,
Yes.
but
Yeah, I love her.
I do.
She stays in regulatory law.
But we got to play with it, exactly.
Yeah, so we really need to,
I would agree.
we need to reference the government code specific to open meetings and committees, that it's either, it's 2 or not. So just take that into consideration when you're setting up these
She's got
committees.
Judy, the
Is
packet
that
that I
for
gave.
standing committees?
Why don't we,
Yes, we
Why don't we
can,
table that?
Yeah.
we're still in discussion. The board determines the standing committees, okay? And it can be reinforced by the bylaws, but it can be determined just by the board alone. And your point is exactly right, that's an point. But what's very, very important is that we do not have 3 board members on a committee, because that's a violation of Texas Open Meeting Act, and it's a quorum.
I'm just,
That being said, there's another point that's in the bylaws that needs to be in the record. And the bylaws currently state that the president is an ex officio member of every committee, okay? As it turns out, that was written, that's a brilliant phrase, half written by some lawyers who don't understand what's happening. When we talk about ex officio members on a committee, there are 3 different modes that they can work in. Okay? The mode is usually that ex officio means as a function of their previous, it's Latin. Ex is from their official position that they're allowed to be on a committee. The 3 modes are that the president on those situations can be specified as being allowed to vote and to participate on a committee. Okay? That mode does not work for us. The next mode is that on ex officio is that an ex officio member could be designated as only voting upon a tie. That does not work for us. So the 3rd mode is the one that works for us, and it needs to be specified that, and it will be in our bylaws, that the ex officio member is a participant but never votes for the outcome of a committee. Okay? So that's the ex, yes sir. Yes sir.
Since she is the president, she should be running.
yeah, she really should.
Okay, great. So we'll switch that over. Great. So
So the discussion is, do we want to continue doing something with the credentials committee? Because
We do.
according to this, you're supposed to pick out,
we're in discussion. I think we should.
okay. Do we need to ask if the member would like to also, we got a note, oh, Danny left.
Yep. Well, as a function of his past experience, I'd like to for us to nominate. I want to nominate Danny Flunker to be on the credentials committee. Okay. But now, who would be the other board member on the
You're
credentials
supposed to
committee?
have 2 board members on the credential committee.
Yep. Say again.
You have to have 2.
That's what I'm saying. Who's the other board member?
So,
Well, Danny.
Danny's not a board member.
no, you need 2 board members.
That's what I'm saying. I just said. So who's going to be the next board member?
is one.
Well, secretary is one, and then there's another one.
Correct.
well, I'll put my name in since we're not up for election.
Okay.
It should be on the credentials.
Okay. Good.
Right, that's for the 2 of us.
So yeah, the president and the secretary, plus Danny Flunker, are the members identified now on the credentials committee.
We need to,
Good. So.
Well, just so you guys know, I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna rerun or run, but I want you to understand that spouses can't be on the credential committee if somebody is going to rerun.
On the board. Yeah, she would have to, he would have
He would have to
to,
step down.
he would have to step, either just
Keep
recuse
that in
himself.
mind.
Yeah. Danny would just have to recuse
I had to
himself.
step down to run.
Right, yeah.
but right now, with you on the board, we're okay with him.
He's okay with that, but if she decides to run next year, Danny
I
can.
just want to make sure you guys understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have that, all in favor of Julie, Judy, and Danny Parker being part of the credentials committee? Aye.
Let's second that motion.
Yeah.
I
Go
thought
ahead.
we had a second.
All in favor, aye.
I'd like to sidestep just a second, because I had a note, to be clear with the audience. The committees that we're talking about, basically, as Renee pointed out, we can have 1 or 2 board members depending on the committee. But we're gonna ask for participation from the membership, so when we get to each of these, when we ask for that, if you wanna raise your hand at that point, so we can include you. So the next one is the legal committee, which this can be staffed with a maximum of 2 board members and a designated member from the audience. Is there anybody that would like to be on that?
I will.
Patty?
Which one we talking about?
Let's
The
let
legal
Patty,
committee.
how about Patty and I? Patty, you okay with that?
No, I'm not. No.
No, but you're gonna be on the committee. You okay with that? You gotta be nominated.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest,
Yourself.
let's open this up for discussion. I'm not really hip on this committee, to tell you the truth. Because I think some of the responsibilities here really are the responsibilities of all 5 members. And all 5 members need to be talking about the legal stuff. I just get a little nervous when we have 2 people that are handling all the legal stuff and they have authority, because just so you know, this legal committee, when it was created, they were given the authority to vote and make decisions on things without a board vote. And that makes me a little nervous to have a committee with that responsibility. If we want to keep it, that's fine, but I don't want a committee like that making decisions without a board vote. Anything that they want to
Totally
do
agree.
has to come back to the board for a vote.
Yep,
I agree.
totally
I
agree.
agree.
Should we maybe rename it? Because I know one of the things we talked about was having a group of members going through the legal invoices.
Well, I mean, we have to identify what's the purpose of this committee then. What is, I mean, I think it was created to handle all the litigation going on, and hopefully there will be no more, but I think there has to be a purpose behind these committees, that we can't just say, well, we have this committee and just run with it. Like, what are the purposes? A bylaw would be obvious why we're creating one.
Yeah.
But for the legal committee, I would want that there's a mission statement, so to speak. What is this committee for, you know? And if the purpose of this committee is really the purpose of what the board members should be doing, maybe we shouldn't have it. I don't know. I'm just going to put it out there for discussion. But don't forget, also, I made mention, it's not on the agenda, but we need to have like this rate appeal committee, understanding how this is going to play out. Because as a side note in the rate appeal, we have to do monthly submissions for the next 4 years. They're opening up a docket, and we have to be responsible every month doing a report. Well, that would be nice if we had a committee that helped with that report.
Why don't we
So,
call it a compliance committee?
perfect.
Let's call it a compliance committee versus a legal committee.
Exactly.
Because as to carry on what Patty was saying, that was a suggestion by the PUC is to have a compliance person or officer. Well, she told me.
I told her that we needed to have that.
Well, she told me, or she told you. Whatever it was, but a compliance officer to manage all the dates and filings that we need, because, I mean, we've got a docket that needs to be responded to by the 6th of March. And that should be taken up, started. So, I mean, somebody should be managing what, yeah, I know, but it's still something we gotta respond to. This should be in the compliance committee because we gotta respond to it from a corporation standpoint. And everybody should, okay, we need the responses in, which means you gotta back up. We need a week to get it all ready, blah, blah, blah. We got audits in the compliance filings, we're audited, you know.
Just change that name.
May I add? This is
Sure.
great. So the notation is, we're changing the from legal committee to compliance committee with a focus with two, I believe it should be 2 parts. One of them is primary respondents on following with the rate appeal, and the other one is to be a primary contact for miscellaneous legal stuff, so that you guys be the catchers and you present that information to the board so the board can work with it completely.
With somebody or 2 people from the community members.
Well, I make a motion to rename the committee from legal to compliance.
Go for it.
Second.
All in favor?
Well,
I had a question.
discussion, we gotta do discussion in there.
Oh,
So, to Patty's point, and I agree with everything you said, Patty, but it is my understanding that state law does not automatically grant to a committee the right of actions, taking those actions. So does our bylaws, or is there a previous board resolution?
There's a previous
that
board
gives-
resolution on the legal committee that they were given that authority. And
Okay,
as it
then you
stands,
should-
it's
I
still,
was suggesting that you guys take the action to reverse that.
Yeah, Brian, will prevent that from happening.
I think it was a 2019 policy.
Yeah, it was just a,
So, first of all, I realize it's a board meeting and we're here to listen to you, right? So, but I think it might help to understand in the world of Robert's rules, committees are not standing committees. You do everything you can to avoid standing committees. And what you do is you spin up a committee to go off and research something on behalf of everyone else. They research it, they bring the information back to the body, and the body can do what they want with it. They have no authority. They're just to do the research.
Yeah, usually that's right.
Just leave it alone.
That's not
It's
That's
in
not
the world of
100%
Robert's
accurate.
rules. I'm not saying it applies here
Yeah.
necessarily, but it might help with what's happening right now. Another thing that might help also is you're specifying members to participate in board discussions and meetings. Now, I can anticipate situations where you're going to have to go into executive session. That's number one. In that case, the member wouldn't be in there generally. So I don't know where this,
They can be.
I'm just saying,
they could be invited to an executive
there
session.
you go, they can. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
structurally, that's my understanding.
Good point. And interesting enough, since our bylaws are completely tacit, they've left out anything about executive sessions. So that's one of the 25 items we're adding.
Okay, back to it.
Okay, so we've got that. And the next one is the bylaws restatement committee. I'm gonna let, since Renee was so involved with that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna explain.
Yeah, exactly. The purpose of the bylaws restatement committee is basically twofold. The idea is that ours are an atrocity and they need to be cleaned up. And we have some strong push from PUC to do the same.
Yeah,
And so we're going to,
Yeah, we have a compliance filing that requires us to rewrite our bylaws. Yeah.
okay. So, that work has been suggested that we should have, couple people in this.
It's a love note.
I was gonna say, is that a challenge? You get run already?
Me behind the stadium.
So Renee, would you like to head up that committee and then do we?
Isn't that a song about that, my brown-eyed girl?
Yeah. Wow. Renee, you heading up that committee? She's asking.
I would like to.
Okay, do we have anybody in the members that would like to be part of the bylaws?
I like it.
Josie? I'd like
Nope,
Josie.
there you go.
Scott, Jen, lovely, okay, great, excellent.
Anybody else?
Now, with the input that came from Patty, do we need to have 2 board members on it?
I don't know,
I'll jump on it.
I think we have to research it. I think we just have to research it.
We
just have to figure it
can
out.
run with what it is.
Yeah, we can run with
So-
what this is. If we have to add somebody, we'll add it at the next meeting. Yeah.
Any other discussion?
If I may, the mission is to use the USDA structure and to weave in our situation, specifically with that, because that's important for us. The other thing is that because we do need to have members' affirmation of those, at least several of the amendments, if not the whole thing. The plan is to have a special members meeting on May the 18th. So we've got a date to look for. That's a Saturday. That's after Mother's Day and before Memorial Day weekend. And our objective is to have that presented. Also talking out loud, because I've been doing a little thinking about this. There's no reason why, as we get draft elements, that for us not to be able to address those as items on the board, to be able to get input from the membership as to make sure that that's as fertile as possible moving forward, so that what happens on the May 18th is basically a rubber stamp, because everybody's...
I'm sorry, 18th?
May 18th
We're gonna talk about dates.
is basically a rubber stamp.
Really quick up.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, everybody in agreement?
Yep.
Aye.
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 Okay, then the next one is the finance committee. We're looking at 2 directors and members to participate, coordinate the accounts payable receivable process, reporting to the board.
I think we should table that and let her
I
and
agree.
Renee give time to
Together.
figure out how,
Okay,
what a mess it is. Judy needs to hit the ball, well running. Maybe it's an assistant, treasurer, type of role. But I would suggest to the board that we just kind of table that one until she gets up to speed.
any other discussion?
No, I agree.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep.
So we're tabling. Real estate committee, any discussion on this one? This is to look at the potential property, marketing. We're looking at 2 board members, a designated member from the audience.
Just to do.
I'll be on it.
Yeah, okay. Just to let everybody know, I had Heritage pull records or information about the property behind my hand. That's all I've done. That's all I've done.
Okay.
Didn't sell it, didn't get a price point, everybody just, it's, they did a title commitment for us. That's all they've done. They did it for free from Heritage Title. So,
If we're allowed
That's all we
to,
got.
if we're allowed to, I'll be on that committee. And if any member would like to be on, Michelle?
See the battery back?
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. All right, moving on, we have the execute the
Hey,
24.
Julie, just to come back to that, I'll send Patty what I got from Heritage. I
Oh,
sent it to you, I think. That
okay,
was just the 2 parcels behind us.
okay.
And Judy did a little bit of legwork for us as well. Judy Miller did a little legwork,
Okay.
just to get it ready.
Moving on, execute the 24 resolutions. Renee, you were responsible for all of this.
Yeah, they're blank resolutions, and I'm trying to see where they
Oh, wait a minute, here's a packet here. Here they are.
great, outstanding, good.
Yeah, I think this is,
Yeah.
Patty, we made 5 packets, but.
Yeah, well, we only need one for official, and I'll just read what it is. The first one on the agenda is which one? Co-bank loans.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
It's in the packet. Yeah, just put it up here.
Yeah.
So it's on.
this resolution talks about the WOWSC and the newly elected officers need to execute and attest to agreements, bonds, and stuff like that with CoBank. The resolution is replace the existing authorized signatures at CoBank with the following: the name and signatures of the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. May I finish reading?
Oh, yeah, I just, go ahead.
Thank
I
you.
just want to see what you're reading. That's all, yeah, that's.
It's in the packet.
Okay. And it's the undersigned being duly elected, qualified, it's the president fills it in and signs, and the attest is required to be the secretary treasurer. So it's just that simple. We take official signatures.
Okay.
So that it's an administrative task that we're required to do.
So we don't really have to vote on this.
No, it's just a
It's
task.
a matter of signing.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one.
Excuse me. Thank you.
I think I need to have black ink. I don't have black.
Oh, well, better is blue.
Blue.
Blue?
Yep.
Okay, it should be blue.
That's blue. That's blue. I have blue.
Good. So Julie, you'll fill in your name and signature in 2 spots. Moving right ahead, while this is being done, the second resolution on it is updating the signatory authority at the First United Bank. Usually, the bank stuff is done by drafted bylaws, but resolution
Works.
bypasses that and trumps it. So this one is, whereas WWSC is a nonprofit supply corporate, yada yada, necessary to authorize newly elected officers to execute and certain things. The financial agents for the corporation need to be named and signed, as well as this one's a little different because the organization that we're doing with MBB is so active on QuickBooks, they use third-party agents, and this allows the identification of third-party agents of the folks at MBB. And the policy that we'll be working on, Judy, on this one, drafting, is that under generally accepted accounting principles, there must be separation, segregation of duties. And so there'll be two-party activities. So it could be the billing or payables clerk, which is right now is Lori. It could be Oscar working with MVP. It could be any one of us doing the inputs on payables, but then a second person must be the release. And we're going to be using automated ACH, automated clearinghouse transactions, rather than written checks. Written checks will be an absolute minority.
Yep.
Yep.
You got the next one?
Yes.
No.
Is there any
Julie.
discussion on what Renee just said?
Any discussion about this
No.
for the third parties or who they?
Now, did you have any discussion on the form?
Yep.
No.
No, I was precocious. I actually put a blank down here for the assistant secretary treasurer because I put that one blank for right now. We can update it in the
No
future.
other discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Yep. Sign it. Pass it down.
Great. Excellent. So
Renee, you have your.
first one's done. Great.
Is this second?
Well, no. Why would you be filing that? She files it. You gave your hat up,
Have
buddy.
it.
Thank you.
Gave your hat up.
Exactly.
Your blood pressure
So
should come down.
So the first United Bank resolution is this one?
No, we already did that.
No. We haven't signed it.
I know, but that's.
Okay, what's the next one? Let's move.
Yeah.
Executive,
The next-
updating tariffs.
Yeah, the next one is, we will need some discussion. It says, in the little bit of information that I got from Merit, and you guys got much more than that.
She should be running it. Sorry, Renee, but
How will she be able to clarify what I have learned?
in a discussion.
Well, I actually want to table C, the execute resolution.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
Oh, what would be is what, this one for the tariff?
Yeah, I want
I think it's important for our revenue that we address it.
can we open it up for discussion?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're on 7C.
Sorry.
Um,
7B.
It's,
C. It's on the second page.
On the
Back page.
backside.
I have a question.
well, hold on, we're in discussion. Give us just a second. So, while I'm not saying this is a bad idea, we need to table this because as someone so intimate with all of this and knows all this, I would not recommend that this be done until the actual final order comes out, which is March 7th. We're on the PUC agenda, and anything doing prior to that is a bit premature, and I'm not comfortable in doing it. So if you guys want to do that, so be it, but I'm going to vote no on that.
Okay.
And that's,
May I interject? The fact that we don't have the order yet, I think there's some very important revenue that can be generated, and we can try out the input of the changing the fields in the RSV reporting.
yeah, so you're required by law when you change your tariff, you have to submit it to the PUC.
Correct.
So for us to change our tariff right now and then have to turn around and submit it to the PUC prior to any order coming out with the new rates, I think that is not a good idea and I would not support it. And that's just my position on this.
Yeah. It was mentioned as a potential idea from Merritt Lander, though.
Yeah. Point well taken.
She's not our attorney.
Yeah, and just to back up what Patty says, that order's coming out on the
March
7th. March 7th. What does it hurt us, Renee, for 2 weeks? Yeah, I mean, what does it hurt till next board meeting?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So we're good.
So maybe we adopt those rates in the tables that they're going to come down with on the 7th, and then from there we adjust it.
What I would recommend is have a meeting on March the 7th.
Can we do that?
Yes.
I don't think we can.
Why not?
No, because that's an adjustment of rates, and we're locked in on rates. We can't. We won't be able to touch rates. Not for a year.
No, that's not true. That's misinformation put out there. You can raise the rates. You can raise the rates.
Okay, well, I think we should check that out, because my understanding is, and I think we were on the phone with her as well, she said, I can't do anything as far as rate increases for a year.
That's not true. That's not true.
When I read the draft of the order, the first appendix gives the requirements. It's saying that the things that it doesn't change is that our buy-in rate.
Are you talking about the compliance filing, or are you talking about the rate appeal?
Both.
Rate appeal is the one that I've read.
Rate appeal, if you look at the language in the rate appeal, it's from the very beginning. Typically, rate appeals don't go for 4 years. And so the language that's used by the commissioners are from the date that the rates were initiated.
Right.
So I know people get confused by that.
Okay.
But, so
And which date are we talking about?
March
The 7th.
March 23rd of 2020.
2020. So
That's
you
the
actually
beginning.
can, do I recommend it? No, but you actually can. So, I mean, I hate to be a thorn in your all's side,
No, it's okay.
but
It's just we're learning.
I've got to follow the book here. And so, yeah, you can raise the rates. So I'm correcting you on that. Don't recommend it, but, yeah. So what is it that, what is the goal here?
You're right. And the thing is that your point is well taken. It's just, with your clarification just earlier today, for the first time I was hearing about the next meeting and things like that. I was working under the assumption that we would probably have until April the 1st to be able to activate it. And so that's the reason why I did the drafting, so that if we had that 2 months, then we could do something about it. But we don't have that 2 months.
You can go ahead and you can have the board start working on it, or a committee start working on it, because we already pretty much know what it's going to be. God forbid there's an order that changes it, but we pretty much know where they're going to come in at.
Right.
So knowing that, you're ready at the March 7th or whatever March
Absolutely.
8th meeting to put forth this
To
resolution
activate it, yep.
and activate it. That doesn't stop you from getting organized and having
Yep.
everything in place.
Yeah, good.
And updating the tariff,
Yep.
working on the tariff. Like,
Yep. What?
this resolution doesn't stop us from
Yeah, so what I'd like to do is add to yours. It's great because we're out of information. Let me help you a little bit about what the study that I've done, as well as Anna Givens in the work when she was doing it, the rate stuff and things like that. Says unfortunately she's not been looking at it from the eyes of the users and that kind of situation. The crazy thing is that the highest tier, yeah.
Well, if we're gonna table this, can we have this discussion later on, because I know it's getting really late.
Okay, no sweat, we're good.
I
Yeah.
mean, we could go on and on and talk
Moving
about
on.
it. Let's just table this and we can discuss this later on.
Okay.
But you talked about, it's only a few weeks away till the final verdict with the PUC.
March 7th.
Right.
So we talked about doing a committee. Should we add it into one of the other ones?
I thought we did.
Yeah, we added it with
The compliance.
Compliance,
Compliance
yeah,
is
compliance.
gonna handle that.
Okay, all right. So we have all in favor of moving on and tabling it for the next meeting?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, ratify operations and finance contracts, AWR is the first one on the list. Jeff, I think you
Yep.
have been involved on that?
Here it is. You want to sign it? It's been reviewed by 2 legal firms. It's ready to go. That's the one Hal already signed. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read it. I know I gave it to Judy before today's.
This is the new one.
What?
Judy?
2
No.
legal firms, who reviewed it? The AWR services, we had it reviewed by.
No, I'm sorry, that's my one legal.
So we have a
I meant 2 people. Judy, I meant to say Judy reviewed it and then John reviewed
Who
it.
was that law firm that reviewed it?
John Carlton.
Oh, wow, he's not our attorney yet?
Yeah, well, what am I going to
Sticking
send?
your
What am I going to
head out
send to
there.
Lloyd? What am I going to send to Lloyd Dustin?
Ouch.
You know, I had to, yeah, he granted me that capability.
Jeff, we right now have a temporary contract that covers us till
1st of March.
the
Well,
1st of March.
Yeah, well, it's today, they know that the
So
board,
is there anybody else, Patty, you probably haven't had it.
Well, I'm always hesitant to approve a contract without actually looking at it.
Right.
So, but,
yeah, if you want to.
I mean,
Yeah.
So what's
and
gonna?
I don't want to hold this up, I know they
extend
have to do
Yeah.
work for us, but
Yeah,
it's just the same.
They're gonna do work for us. It starts on March 1st, let her look at it. You know? I mean, you send it to her, that that's just the latest version,
How long is this contract for?
3 years.
It's 3 years?
Yeah. Here.
For how much?
Oh, it's
How much a month?
11,750.
And is there any provision in there about increasing it over the 3 years? Is
It's
it like a,
annual, yeah, it's annual renewal, annual audit, 60-day kill, meaning we can part ways after 60 days. They have a table back there of all their additional costs, but that's just their basic services cost is 11,750.
I mean, unfortunately, I think the situation we're in, we don't really have much of a choice.
Nope.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But,
Is there any way you can extend the temporary one we have until we have the next board?
Temporary one's basically the same contract. I wouldn't do
are
it.
we supposed to cover them under our insurance?
No.
And then, what are the costs for all this extra work they have to do?
It's on the back sheet. Last page.
General liability.
Licensed field operator, $65. What is that, an hour?
Yes.
That's an hour. Field technician, $40 an hour.
Oh.
Office, $55 an hour? Dang, so that's,
If they do above and beyond.
well, what if they don't do above and beyond, what's the price?
It's included.
It's still, yeah,
Okay, mid-management, 80.
yeah.
Management principal, 120. Utility vehicle, $27. I mean, I just want to make sure that we're all aware of this. Utility vehicle, $27. What does that mean?
That means if they use their vehicles to come out to do service work, to repair a pipe that is not within the vicinity, that's what we get charged for.
May I just ask a question, please?
Sure.
This is a contract you're entering into, 3 years, 1 year renewable,
Yes,
and it's pages and pages long,
yes.
and you've got 3 new board members, and at least one of them apparently hasn't seen it? Can't you at least let your board?
Hey,
You
it
know,
doesn't have to
I'm
be
just
executed
asking,
first.
just asking a question, sir.
It was so
yeah.
fast to make your head spin.
Well, it doesn't have to be executed first, but the first, we don't have a board meeting between now and the board.
Then maybe you need a special board meeting.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we could do that, Marvin. I'm just saying that it was
Yeah, I
kind of
agree.
like a catch-22 because of the board meeting. We specifically set it to be a March 1st contract, well, you know, with them because of board approval and so on.
I thought one of your folks
Yeah.
just said that you
Yeah.
could extend it to the temporary.
I
for
can't
short
extend,
period.
well, we'd have to
I don't feel
execute it.
comfortable voting on this right now. I think we
Okay.
fail fiduciary because I honestly want to be able to look at this page by page and understand it. Like I
Yes.
said, I'm not saying that, that I don't support hiring them, but someone in the legal industry, I'm not going to put my name to a contract without reading it.
Well, I
So-
agree with Marvin, that was one of the things
No,
I made a
especially
comment,
that.
don't come to a meeting and throw me
Yeah.
a contract that we're gonna sign to submit even for a year that you haven't had time to go through
Yeah.
and study to
Yeah.
understand.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion
Again, the
to table
circumstances
that.
are just because of the board meeting and the dates and so on.
So, on 8A, I'd like to make a motion that we table that. However, I see that there's 2 additional contracts to vote on.
I think they all need to be tabled.
I'm not saying, I think that we should have a special meeting called specifically to vote on these because the fact that there's 3 new board members that need to look over these contracts.
Is there a second?
Second, is there a
You
second?
said you were making a
I'm gonna make a
motion.
motion.
I'll second.
Okay,
So we're gonna call a special meeting. We'll
take a
just-
vote on that, please.
But, by the way, 3 board members have reviewed the AWR contract and they have, so,
I just
All
want
in
to be able
favor?
to, aye.
yeah,
Aye. Enough discussion?
yeah.
We just had this.
Is there any more discussion? That's it?
Says,
May I ask a question, please? Renee, didn't you and I talk about the audit firm not doing the bookkeeping? Otherwise, they'd be auditing themselves. Well, you've got, they're both here.
That's right. They are 2 distinct arms.
They're the same firm, you have it right here, and you have your audit firm auditing its own bookkeeping for you. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I don't even think that professionally they should, but I'm just saying I don't think. I haven't practiced in over 20 years. But if I were you guys, I'd have a separate bookkeeping firm and an audit company to audit the bookkeeper who's keeping you.
Okay. That's certainly good, so the idea is that 8C, based on input, is not going to be valid, and so the only one that can be considered is 8B at this time.
Right.
I think maybe you ought to let that firm decide whether they want to be your bookkeepers or your CPA.
Renee, you've had discussion with them, have any feedback for that?
The work that I've done in mergers and acquisitions, even though they're PCs, as long as there are firewalls between the organizations, you can do that. Marvin's experience is different than that.
Okay.
I mean, you look at any of the big six accounting firms, they're gonna have accounting, you know, if you go to PricewaterhouseCoopers, they're gonna have an audit group, and they're gonna have an accounting group under the same. It's do they have a firewall?
I have a consulting firm, they don't do bookkeeping.
Yeah. No, I agree, with you, Marvin.
I have a question though, isn't the auditing being done now is for 2023?
That's correct.
So there's no,
They're not auditing what they.
they're not
yeah.
auditing what they did.
Yeah.
So that should be fine.
I mean, we've had to start some things because
That's a
of,
good point.
I mean, we've had to start some things because of what happened to us on January 13th. Everybody left.
Yeah.
George left, the accounting firm left, so we had to, and, you know, Rich and I were Renee and I were flying by the seat of our pants.
And the 2023 audit is much more important than 24 right now.
That's correct.
Exactly, that's the one that's going to be mandated and things, so.
Yeah.
So that's a good point, I didn't think about that. So it actually, Martin, they are actually two different accounting firms. The organization that's doing the auditing is going to be auditing the work that Norton and Salinas did.
I think that you said earlier today that the bookkeeping that was done for you was horrendous. And if that's the case, somebody's going to have to go in and look at the bookkeeping first. I would not, then they're going to be doing bookkeeping as they're trying to bring your books.
So help me understand your point.
Your bookkeeping is, according to what you said, your bookkeeping has been horrendous.
That's the past.
It's the past, but it's the bookkeeping that they're going to be auditing. If they correct the bookkeeping, then they're going to audit their own work. That's what I'm saying. And in the future, you won't want them to do bookkeeping and auditing also.
That's correct. I think the point is for the future, your point is 100% valid. We're not going to be changing the records that have been closed.
Sure they are if they find errors.
There's
Sure they are.
there's a motion on the floor to
If the
table
records
this.
are not, excuse me, if the records are not auditable, they're going to have to work on the records before the records can be audited. That's all I'm saying.
No,
And that's bookkeeping.
They're just gonna say what the problems are.
There's a motion on the floor to table item 8, A, B, and C until we can have a special meeting where we'll vote for this, okay? Let's do that.
Sure.
But
So let's call that special meeting as soon as possible.
Yeah, you gotta call it quickly.
Okay, so we've tabled, did we take the vote up for 8 to table it?
yeah, we're gonna take the vote to table A, B, and C.
Okay.
A, B, and C. All in favor?
Oh, well, did we make the motion? I think I made the motion.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have a second?
Yes.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that one's been tabled.
Actions to
Whoa,
transfer.
whoa, whoa, that's like, that's only two votes.
I thought Judy voted.
No,
She did
Judy
too.
didn't vote.
Oh.
So
I'm
you
sorry.
got 2 against 3 here about some of these things, so.
Well, I think it's only fair that you allow new board members the ability to look at these contracts. That's with our, it's, my fiduciary duties require me to look at the contracts.
Based on that, I will vote in the affirmative to table.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 9, actions to transfer. Was this something that you worked on, Renee?
Sure.
Or should
The item 9A is just that we're going to initiate it. So this will be discussion. The current bylaws state that the president is the registered agent or can be a person that the board designates. As it turns out, the person who was the registered agent for 6 years or so was George. It was changed to Richard Schaefer basically about 3 months ago, and Richard Schaefer is no longer eligible to be, so we have to address getting a new registered agent. We have the choice in the board of using basically anybody we want. The default is the president. I would suggest that we do not use the president as our registered agent. What I would make a suggestion is that, and I did a little bit of feasibility calling this last week. Tennis Village in the registered agent, because we had the same sort of concerns.
Can I interrupt you for just a
Yes.
second? Our bylaws require that it's the president who's the registered agent.
Sorry, open it up.
Open up the discussion.
Open up the bylaws.
Well, last I checked, to the president. Maybe it's the articles of incorporation.
Our articles are tacit on that. It's the bylaws that says that, you're correct, it states that the president will be, the follow-up is that, or as designated by the board.
Right.
I think it's right in Article 1, 2, or 3.
No, right here, registered agent. The registered office of the corporation shall be maintained at 424 Coventry Road, Spicewood, Texas, 78669, in the state of Texas. The registered agent shall be the duly elected president.
And there's no follow-through on that?
That's Article 6.
Do you
The
have?
registered office
do
or
you have-
or the registered agent or both may be changed by resolution of the board of directors upon filing a statement required by law.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't have to be the president, it can be who the board decides.
Resolution?
Yeah, we don't
Well,
have to.
we're in discussion
Well,
now.
I
We
mean-
don't have a resolution ready for signature.
I'm not comfortable in having us interpret that until we have an attorney look at it, because in my opinion, there's permissive and there's mandatory. Shall is a mandatory word used in legal filings, meaning it's a requirement. The may is used in the second sentence. So this is a perfect example of our bylaws
Being bad.
being really bad. And so I'm a little hesitant until we actually have someone who is
Excellent.
Well, we need
expert on
well, we need to
this.
get the registrant
May
done.
I continue the discussion? Okay, your point is well made, we do need that clarification. What I'd like to do is I'd like to see the idea so that at least it's here, because we're not making any decisions on it.
I mean, by default, currently you are the registered agent.
She can't be, not yet, because we have to file a 401A and a 401B.
Well, she'd be the designee on those two forms.
Okay, I mean, we're splitting hairs, but,
Yeah,
She isn't until she's designated with the Secretary of State.
okay.
Yeah, we can apply at the
So
Secretary of State.
currently then we have no registered agent because Rick Schaefer is a registered agent and he's not a president.
That is correct.
So we're required to have a registered agent.
Right, we need to
That's
get
correct.
somebody.
So then let's get the paperwork going, fill it out, and get it submitted Monday for
Yeah.
Julie to be the registered agent. That's how we fix that.
Right.
And then until we can remove her as a registered agent or come up with a resolution, whatever, until then, we need a registered agent because these are the issues we're having when lawsuits are filed. We
Right.
have to file a lawsuit with the registered agent.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that was an issue with the PUC case. All right.
So can we,
So we have.
You just have to submit the forms.
May I continue talking? Do we have a motion that you're going to be designated as the registered agent?
I make a motion.
Good.
second,
Yep. Yep. Approved?
Approve.
all in favor?
Okay.
Do we also want to possibly move it on as old business on the next meeting to talk about it being looked at by an attorney?
You will have it looked at by an attorney, you just have to say, is it the president gonna be the registered agent, or is there gonna be somebody else?
Okay.
I mean, by default, we don't need a vote because,
Yeah. But by default,
by
the bylaws.
default, you are, so there's really not a vote needed.
Okay, the next one is the records
You're
retention
correct.
manager.
Let me just add some discussion on this before we do anything. That's part of the PUC compliance filing is a new records retention
Or
system.
establishment of one.
Yeah, our establishment of one, a complete set of rules, basically online, us having email, no more personal emails and stuff.
The
So-
emails are not a part of that,
They will be in part of the compliance.
but not
Yeah.
part of records retention manager.
If I may,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
because I've done a more.
You've done a lot, you've done a very good job
More
with that.
record requests than I ever cared to, even like with the sheriff's department,
Yep.
EK.
You have,
The email system and everything is intertwined so that a director can't go in there and delete a record.
exactly.
Everything is.
That's why I said, you've got to have email addresses to complete
That
record
makes
retention.
sense.
That's what I'm
makes
talking
sense.
about. And that's one of the things we brought up at the fall meeting, it's still an open item, was we need a new records retention system. You can look at the agenda items back then.
Yeah.
Rick said, go do it here, and he sent me this stupid document afterwards, it didn't even make sense. And it's also part of our compliance file. That we need to have one.
And currently, we had it going back on the agenda, we had it back listed as being, we changed that to the
Yeah, I
compliance.
just
I'm
got.
sorry, say again? What?
I said, when we changed the name to the compliance committee,
Mm-hmm.
basically that description had to establish a records retention policy.
Yeah,
Is this what, are we discussing this?
yeah.
Something
So,
for discussion?
Yeah.
Okay,
Open
so,
for discussion.
and
So-
let me just, before that, I was finishing the statement. I have been given 2 site development people to look at our site, I haven't had a chance to contact them, to look at our site and see how we can update it. Lori is just using a basic site, and we need to update it to allow email traffic to be recorded, as Danny noted. We need that, we need to be able to have a central repository for everything, notes and such, but somebody needs to spearhead that and get it going. So, I'm sorry.
so, in my time sitting up here, and with this item on the agenda, there's only 5 of us, and we all have a life outside of this, or we work a full-time job. Typically, a records retention is someone who works for the corporation or the utility, what have you. And typically, that's the general manager or it's the assistant. Well, I understand you guys signed a contract with Lori Cantrell, not gonna bring that up right now, but that should be a job of that person, being in charge of those records. This is not something that we are involved in. The only thing that we would be involved with is making sure she has those records.
And keep
And
it
she's
safe.
keeping it in a repository for that. So, I mean, with all these committees and everything, I mean, we have to limit the time we're doing here because this will be our life full-time. We have to delegate. And the POA does a good job at that with their committees. We have got to do that with us. Delegate some of this stuff. That is a employee or contractor's job. So, my opinion is that is a job somebody should be doing besides the 5 of us.
AWR will do that for us, by the way. We have to give them the infrastructure in order to do it.
Is it in their contract?
Yes, they can do that for us, yes. They can do billing, they can do operations, billing, and so on. If you look in their contract, they're not taking on billing just yet. They want to look at us for the next 90 days till everything.
So they will handle all records, whether operational,
Aren't they coming out
governing.
here soon?
Yes.
Next meeting, you said.
Yeah.
All right, well then that solves the problem. I mean,
They have that capability of doing that.
all right,
Yeah, but everybody, I didn't want to get it too complex because everybody was concerned about how they're running they can run the election if they wanted to, as a third party, but we know where that
Okay.
went on the previous one. That's why I did it, Danny, right there.
Let's not discuss that.
Exactly.
okay, so where are we on this and what are we
We're
voting
on 8B, on 9B.
I make a motion
Table.
that we table 9B.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're down to C, identify the 24 public information officer to initiate the development of the policy for clarification. Who is still on file for that now?
It's,
Well,
it was,
one time it was Joe, that's last year.
it's the president motion to designate otherwise.
We don't have one typed up to do that.
Nope.
Okay, so we
Well-
need to table that.
Oh, it's you
Well,
right
you
now.
can't really table it by default, that's you.
That's you.
Okay.
It's you.
So if we table it, it's you.
Yeah.
But let's open up a little bit of discussion, just because that's really been a point of pain in a lot of this. Where do we as a group think that should go and how it should be done?
I don't think it should be someone on the board once again, it should be somebody, I mean, if there's someone like Lori Cantrell or whatever, AWR that provides those services, I mean,
And the board authorizes what they
of
want.
course, that's if we don't have a whole lot of public information requests, I anticipate we probably will.
Joey's out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean,
Your point is one thing I think as well, is if we've got a records retention manager, why not bundle that together?
Well, if we have a central repository where everything is supposed to go, monthly reports, weekly reports.
that person has access to it. The ratepayers shall get a refund, and the rates shall be, but when it came to the attorney's expenses, it said they may.
May recover.
They may
Okay.
recover.
But
So-
can they go back on that 478 number?
No, it's not about, it's a final order.
Okay, so if they rule Tuesday, or on the 7th, if they rule that surcharge, and you add up the surcharge, it adds the 478, even though we did an audit, if we found that it's really, we only own 300,000, let's just say we only found value, expenses against the rate appeal case at 300,000, could we go back to the PUC and say that 478 number was wrong?
No, because you're comparing apples and oranges. That is simply what they're saying, they're entitled, they may recover. You have to understand there's a contract with Lloyd Gosling for representation of
Yep.
this. And even Lloyd Gosling filed in the rate appeal saying, we really don't care what you have to say, PUC, because you can't come between a two-party contract.
That's true,
So
right.
whether you award us or you don't award us, there's a contract. We represented them and they're on the hook.
Right.
So I know it gets confusing when you look at what they got and then what they
Nice.
billed us for. So that's why any agreement to say, yeah, we owe you this or we're going to give you this, is like, slow down. Let's just say you're letting you go, and our new attorneys will reach out to you and confirm with you our records and any final invoices and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of leave it like that, because we really need to get in there and look at this. Personally, my opinion, there was a document that was filed late by Lloyd Gosling in the rate appeal, and so they missed their deadline, but we got charged for it. So if there are attorneys representing us and they missed a deadline, how much did it cost them to do that document and file it? Was it $5,000? And why are we paying $5,000 when Lloyd Gosling dropped the ball? These are the things I'm talking about that we need to go through. We can't just be willy-nilly, just, okay, we'll write a check for you, goodbye, see you later. That's
Okay.
how it's been done. We need to look out for the members because this is the members' money. It's not for us to just throw it around and say, sure, you're getting this money.
I get that. So your suggestion is we audit all their invoices from 2020, 2018 going forward?
I'm sorry?
We audit all their invoices from 2020 till now? Is that your suggestion?
I would, yeah, because they filed in the PUC case back in September that they have zeroed out. The insurance proceeds paid everything off. So we don't owe them for any district court, nothing. That the only outstanding fees are for the rate appeal.
Right.
So, it's
But that's what I'm asking. So for the rate appeal,
what's outstanding.
which is what's outstanding, are you saying that we go back and we audit their
We need
invoices
to-
for anything?
We need
We
to,
audit all their invoices because you want to see if it's general counselship mixed in with the rate appeal
we need
stuff.
to audit what's outstanding.
Okay. Are we willing to put forth dollars to do that? Because that's going to take some dollars to do that.
No, it's not.
Okay? Okay. Okay. And then what about auditing having a legal representative look at that, so we're willing to pay money for that.
Well, if
Because
there's.
these things are all gonna cost us money.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
I'm not trying to debate you, I just want to.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Would you rather pay $25,000, $30,000 to have someone look through that to save us $100,000? You've got to weigh it out.
Yeah, of course I
How
would.
much is it costing us, and what are they finding that we shouldn't be paying for this?
Yeah,
So
of course I would.
I think that this is definitely a discussion that needs to take part in another meeting.
I just don't know if we have 30 grand to spend on it.
Who knows if it's 30?
Yeah,
30
yeah,
grand.
I'm just saying, on the 7th of March, we're gonna get our rates cut drastically.
But as you know from my presentation, we're fine. We'll have $30,000 a month that we'll be bringing in.
Okay. So we'll have to look at the budget, I'm just saying that, yeah,
Okay, so back to the.
Yeah, what were we on?
Yeah, right.
termination.
We all agreed to terminate
Yes.
WOPOA. We had this other letter, I know Jeff presented one.
Yeah.
I want to
That's
present
fine.
this
I
one.
had one already.
I want to present this one,
Either one doesn't matter, I don't
which is
care.
just
I don't care.
very simply
I
doing
don't really
what,
care, I'm just saying,
it very simply
Sign
says
it.
what Patty is suggesting.
sign it and send it to them.
Yeah. Let me see that one.
Yeah.
How many do we have? Mr. Klein. Yeah, it should go to Mr. Klein because he is the actual head honcho there.
He's copied on.
So I just have a
Question,
question.
make
What-
great terminate relation, enjoy the minute, it's to be careful. Overall, we would like to know.
Do you have an effective date?
February 24th.
Today.
Our new legal representatives will be in touch with you shortly to facilitate a smooth transition. They will also coordinate with you. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate. Me or be in the Okay, I like this one. I like that.
Okay, so hesitate me, that's gonna be me. What email address am I to use?
Make up a new email address.
For you? For yourself?
Well, according to the way I'm reading it, that's what they want in that paragraph.
You can use your personal one on this because this is attorney-client privilege stuff, and so it's not claimable under the PIA,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, but I highly recommend you get a new email address
Yes.
that all of us use, a new email address.
I have that in my.
All of that, all your emails are discoverable.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any other discussion on the letter?
I make a motion.
Hang on, we're still in discussion. Let's see. You're not gonna reference anything in their termination clauses, in their current letter of engagement that they need to
No,
follow?
I wouldn't do that. That letter, I wouldn't do that. Stay away from that. Keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, but they have terms and conditions in there.
Just keep it simple.
Okay.
We'll be in touch. Our attorneys will be in touch to make the
Okay.
transition.
Whatever the board votes on.
Remember, and I'm not saying, yeah, but
We just gotta be careful. We've gotta be careful.
Yeah.
I think
We
we're
have
leaving a hole
one
open, but
motion
go
on the
ahead.
floor. Did we get a second?
okay.
Did you second it, Renee?
I will.
Did you second it? Okay, all in favor to
Aye.
send this letter as for termination?
Aye.
Aye. We got 3.
Well, you have to say those who aren't. You have to see who the nays are. If there's any nays.
Oh, do we have any nays? We have Jeff
Yeah.
and Judy. Okay, we still have 3.
Just all three, go for it. Good, since you don't have
All right.
that. This is-
The Carlton Law Firm, is that a
That's in
signed
there.
contract? Renee, or?
Patty, you know somebody there, right?
My former boss.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion? Again, since there's basically 3 of us new on the board, do we need to table this Carlton and the Griffin?
Does the board know that Carlton had his Lloyd Gosling moment in front of the PUC? Just curious.
Wow, interesting.
What?
Fill me
Very
in.
Creek side.
I'm sorry?
Very Creek side. I tried to pull it today and couldn't get on the PUC's website.
I didn't hear the, what?
He had his Gosling moment.
Oh, which means what?
Well, he lost to a ratepayer, and Peter Lake said, he said, we need this money, we need to do this, we need to do that. Peter Lake said, you're a smart man, you'll figure it out.
Well, I'm gonna remove myself from this vote because my former supervisor works for that one.
And we're talking about engaging
We're talking about-
John Carlton?
Yeah,
So
so,
we're talking about the Carlton
yeah, so
law.
let me tell you how we got to this guy. I interviewed, starting in November, 3 different law firms, and this was one of them. This was the one that I had the best feeling on and the best representation. They're a water company. They do water work. Patty knew one of our members at the time, knew her boss worked there. She had done some work prior to being on the board, checked everything out, and this was the one I would, at the time when I was in the lead committee, this is the one I would recommend. So I'll leave it up to the board too.
Any other
Yeah.
discussion?
Yeah. The conversation that I had with John Carlton, again, I'm doing this drive back and forth
Yeah.
to Houston, and it's
Yeah.
crazy, it's what, battling the highways. It says, this guy is deep in water, very, very deep in the knowledge of that. But he told me that he was not excited about doing the litigation work and the battle work. He said he wanted us to be, he would be wide open to coming on to work for us when the battles and the litigation stuff is done. And as a result of that, that's the reason why I've reached out to this Davis and Griffin, which is C on this, because I believe that the John Carlton guys should be engaged for their strength in the water.
General counsel.
For general counsel, and I think that the Davis and Griffin guys should be engaged for the litigation stuff, and because of their horsepower there.
What litigation are we gonna have?
Well, we don't know. That's the thing.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
we don't have what they've sent is they're not requiring a retainer. They just talked about what they sent to me was as something that's talked about their rates and that they would be glad to work for us in the litigation world.
But should we let our GC decide who their litigation partner would be? I mean, we can make a recommendation to them,
Yeah.
Renee. I'm
Yeah.
not saying
Yeah.
we can't use them, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
if they're gonna go to litigation, I think you'd want the GC firm to say, we're gonna bring in this specialty group. We
Not
recommend these
necessarily.
guys.
No, not necessarily.
Well, I'm saying, they can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they could be, but the thing is, the experience that I've had, believe it or not, working with a little bit of them, because I touched base with these guys as well. This is their tigers, the Griffith Davison guys. There and very quickly learned about our personalities, the dysfunctionality of the board at that time and stuff like that. So again, there's no cost. What I would do is make sure that we've got a team that likes doing litigation and a team that is obviously very, very strong in the water stuff to be our, so Carlton to be our general counsel and the other guys to be our litigation team.
Okay, so we're kind of doing discussion across both of them
Sure,
at the same time.
at the same
So
time.
do we want to back up and go, do we want to look, any motion to accept the Carlson Law Firm?
Motion to accept.
Is there a
Carlson.
second?
Yeah, I see no reason why not. I'll second that.
Okay,
She had to abstain.
she abstained, okay.
Right.
So we want to vote?
Vote.
Who's all in favor of accepting Carlton?
Aye.
Three.
And you?
I haven't reviewed it, so
Okay.
I'm not, I said I'm not voting on something that I haven't had a chance to review.
Sure.
So it basically passes. So basically, this particular contract, then, because it has on here, it doesn't say, Renee, did you fill this one out? Do I need to sign this as president, or is it?
Yeah, sign it right at the bottom.
You would.
Yeah.
All right, I'll borrow the pen when we get there, back to that one. All right, so now we'll go back to Griffin and Davison.
You probably want one without hole punches on it.
Oh, yeah, we got that. Fine. I'll borrow the pen, sorry.
Thank you.
Longest meeting I've ever been in.
Hey, we had a lot of shit to talk about. We had a lot of shit we had to talk about for you people. Trying to come up with an agenda, 30 days prior to this meeting. Come on now.
I'm gonna cross in so many dates or anything.
Hey, we're on number 11.
Okay, so what are we on now?
11. Sorry.
10C is, we've got
Yeah, I
10.
think we can do this while you guys are signing that. We can keep on
Sure.
moving on with the
Yeah,
I think we
conversation.
can.
Okay, all right, so the other conversation we had was on,
The Griffiths Davison, allowing them to be listed as, on our bench for litigation stuff if we need it.
all right, any discussion?
And by the way, Julianne, all these, they need board approval before they do anything.
Oh, absolutely.
So please keep that in mind.
Oh, the one this new one that we're talking about?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them.
Just some little discussion here. I would never recommend giving an attorney a carte blanche.
Yeah, exactly.
No, everything needs to be approved by the
Yep.
board.
Yes,
Right?
everything needs to be approved by the board, so.
Not just, hello?
Yeah,
On your emails to them, or when you send their documents, clarify that in an email to them. And just say,
Everything has
we
to
may
be-
give you actions, but anything you're gonna submit, lawsuits or whatever, it's got it, before you do that, it's got to go back and forth.
That's an important clarification.
The other part, because I haven't seen the Lloyd Gosling, Patty's seen most of them, that it should have the date, time, who they talked to, and what they discussed.
Yeah,
Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Gosling?
That's just standard invoicing. It should be in the contract of what they, how they do that.
All right, any other discussion on this group
Nope.
of Davidson? Is there a
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second. Yep.
Okay, all in favor? Aye,
She abstained again, that's fine. We had three.
okay.
All right.
But this one's not noted right.
all right, moving right along, what we got?
What's wrong with it?
Well, you got, you as legal committee, we got Rich Schaefer, French.
Just
and-
cross it out, you can
Oh,
cross
yeah,
it
yeah,
out.
just cross it out. But hey, use one that's not 3 hole punch.
Yeah, you can do these other ones, all right.
Yeah, you need to have a clean copy.
Yeah.
There should be one of these floating around here. There's one. There's one.
That's why I pulled out, it's all black and green.
All right, treasurer's report. Come on, Judy. Come on, Judy. Step up to the plate.
That's too funny.
Can't you read his
That's too
notes?
funny.
For God's sake.
That's too funny. Exactly.
What do you mean?
The pages are wrong.
Oh, the pages are wrong, this is the wrong one, this is Costa Variety.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, that's the Griffith Davis one.
My page 3 says something different.
That's the one that was in the packet.
I got discontinued at 5 this morning stapling.
Well, there's no signature lines today.
That's right, but that's a completely separate thing. They're okay, 2 pages of 2 different contracts. Rip them apart.
Yeah, there you go.
Now we need to find the other.
I don't have signature, I don't have.
No, that's just your rate table.
Yeah, but there's.
We'll figure it out. Go to the next item.
There's a 3rd page.
Yeah, go to the next
All
item.
right, let's move on.
Yeah, move on.
You can
Yeah.
sign it while it's
Yeah.
still moving through.
Exactly. I'll find it for you.
So next is Secretary Treasurer's report. Can
Yeah.
you touch on that, please?
Right, I will.
And quickly.
I'll do it quickly.
Yeah, my ass is getting sore.
As it-
Sitting here.
As it turns out,
Yeah.
the printout of the stuff that I wanted to do, here, potential here. Hey,
Put this under. You put this
No, they're all copied on the name.
they're all on.
This was not whole patch, and this is not
Good, yeah, exactly, that's it.
Okay, so what is the first line of the
Yeah. Mark through the names as necessary.
Yes.
Who's going in place of Richard?
You're not gonna do this.
You are our replacement of Schaefer, because that was the president.
Where are we?
Did you say lost?
We're still trying to figure out how to sign this one.
No, you keep doing
Yeah,
that.
no, we'll get you the correct one. Just give, yeah.
Okay, well,
You move on to the meeting.
Okay, we're
Item
at
11.
Renee,
Yeah.
Secretary Treasurer report. Before you use everything,
law statement, Renee, can you begin with that, please?
I'm trying to wait,
He's pulling that up.
the document that I wanted to present, and my
Renee,
computer's.
can I have you hold a minute? Could we as a board vote to let me go down to number 12 to talk about the meetings? and then
Yes.
go back up?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yes.
Sure.
Perfect,
Move
Is that
around.
perfect?
yes.
Okay, so all of you that are still left out there, basically we talked about doing a quarterly meeting for members on Saturday. So if you all got your notes, the dates that we chose basically is May the 18th, August the 24th.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, what?
Renee and I worked through this. We were doing it, so we ended up in February next year for the annual meeting. So we're doing it every quarter to have them
We're
on
just gonna have a
Saturday.
quarterly board meeting with all the chaos?
No. That's-
Oh.
You weren't listening when I was summarizing earlier.
I'm sorry, yes, I did.
Didn't
Just
hear anything
summarized
about it.
earlier.
What?
So-
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about meetings.
Oh,
So
hold
go
on.
ahead.
So what was discussed, that we do a quarterly meeting for the members on Saturday. Then we do a working meeting for the board on the third Tuesday of the month,
Okay, our
in
operator,
between the quarterly. Now,
Wait,
we're
wait,
gonna
wait,
have
wait, wait, wait. When you say working, are you saying a board meeting?
a board
Yes.
meeting, yes, but we're gonna do it during the week.
I don't know if we can do that, but.
So wait, you're saying do a board meeting every other month, we're going to rotate, 1 month it's a board meeting, and then
No,
next month it's what?
No. It says the quarterly, there would be a Saturday meeting that's.
So all members
that's
could attend.
an open board meeting that's on the Saturday that everyone can attend, and we're using that focus for the information to be able to make sure that people who can only come on Saturday, get that.
Is it a board meeting?
Yes.
Yes, it's a
Yeah,
board
it's
meeting,
gotta be
all
open.
board meetings.
It's gotta be open.
As we said, quarterly, there would be an open board meeting.
Well, they're all
that is-
open. They're
That's
all
correct. So we're all talking about the regular board meetings now, all of them, 12 for the year.
Well, they're all open. What we're doing is we're having a quarterly board meeting on a Saturday as
Correct.
opposed to during the week.
Correct.
Where we're gonna have,
And then the months in between, we're gonna do them on the third
The
Tuesday.
other stuff that's necessary,
okay,
all of them are working.
So use it, and we're gonna have to talk about the special one, but using an example, like the third Tuesday.
Wait, they're not listening.
wait,
Yep.
If you guys would listen,
Yeah,
Do we need a calendar to
we
look
are. No, I got it, go.
Okay, so the third Tuesday of the month, the first one up would be March the 19th, and then after that, we'd have one April the 19th, that would be.
so that we, because the idea of the 72 hours applies to the special stuff.
yeah, so just call the meeting 72 hours before March, whatever, the 7th.
But what happens is if you're eating wrinkles and we can't digest those and we have to do another one
Well,
immediately
at least we're
after.
doing a special meeting to handle the contracts, it's not as if we would not be doing.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be applicable if it's 3 or 4 days after that as well and we just plan one?
Yeah, we could do it Tuesday the 12th, is that where you're going?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, just a little bit of digestion time.
Whatever works for you guys works for me.
Well, I want to make sure that we're getting everything
Whatever
that's
works for you
possible.
guys works for me, whatever you guys want to do. I mean, I'm in agreement, whatever you guys want to do. It just has to be after March 7th. March 7th.
Absolutely, I agree. So is Tuesday the 12th a good day for everybody?
Why can't we do it on the 7th? What?
The reason why, please come to this meeting.
I am.
Okay, the reason why we were discussing potentially not doing on the 7th, if there are any wrinkles and if there are things that are coming out in that we need to digest before we face them on the board, we should have a little bit of time to be able to discuss them.
Well, here's the deal. So I will have a good idea of what's going to happen because they do something called what is it again? Help me out. The day before.
Yeah,
They call it,
they call it something,
not
the
contested,
memo will come out of that.
contested or not contested, but, so, they will not take it up. So if they don't take it up, they'll do it the night before, they'll come out with the agenda that says they're not taking up these agenda items. If in fact that's the case, then we know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the rates that they recommended and the refunds and the
Yeah.
surcharge.
Yeah, So we'll know a couple days ahead.
We'll know in advance,
Yeah.
but it's whatever you guys wanna do.
If it's the day before, we don't have 72 hours between the day before and the 7th.
I would like to make it March the 12th because I've got to rearrange my
Okay.
plan for family. I need to.
All right, the 12th it is. Let's go for
Okay,
that.
because I need to go
Get
out
on
at
there.
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, guys?
6 o'clock on the 12th, let's do
Okay,
that.
so I need to do a.
Special board
We
meeting,
got a motion and a second?
yes, let's do that.
I move.
You move, Patty second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So a special meeting, and we gotta get 7 to our members. Okay, now we're ready? On 11? Poor guy.
It's okay. And for whatever reason, the packet that I put together with those didn't get here.
Okay, let's go to, when he pulls it up, tell us when you're ready, we'll just interrupt. Let's go to the last one,
You wanna go
which is
to
14.
14?
Exactly.
Okay.
The glorious
We don't
one.
have the person
glorious
here
one.
to address.
I know, but I've got his sheet, we gotta put it on the record.
Oh, we gotta put on the record that you wanna read it?
Yeah, I'll just read what he said.
Okay, you read it.
Okay.
What happened to 13?
So this,
Wait,
this,
wait a second.
well, we'll come back,
Wait
because
a second, wait a second.
that's the legal award.
So,
Yeah, we'll handle that.
number 14, requested items for listing on the VOD agenda by Joe Jimenez.
That's this right here. He
Um,
sent this into us, so we wanted to make sure that he didn't come back with anything. But we're not gonna discuss it, I'm just gonna read it and put it in there.
Hold on. A member may request items to be put on the annual board meeting, not the board meeting.
Or any board agenda. That's how this went out.
So what is he requesting for, a board meeting? Is this for the board meeting?
Yeah, this is his board meeting.
How do you know this is for the board meeting and it wasn't for the annual meeting?
We're just gonna obligate it to get it on the record.
You're right.
That-
He didn't clarify
He didn't
that.
clarify it, we're just doing it to get it on the record. That's all. So I'm just gonna read it in the records. Number 1, he's requesting, this is really kind of like a PIA request, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Julie, so you, as the PIA officer, minutes of all meetings since April 15th of 2015. That's a PIA request.
Yeah.
So you're
No,
gonna have to satisfy.
it's not a PIA request. A PIA request there are procedures to submit a PIA request, and this is improper.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, I'm putting in the record, I think he is looking for a PIA request, and he can solve it. He can listen to the response here. Response of Ray French to the PIA request of August 22nd, 2023. Okay?
Okay, he's asking that be an agenda item, a response by Renee. Well, so there is no,
I get it. All I'm doing is reading this into the record, that's all.
okay, that's all you're doing?
Okay, yes.
All right.
Links to videos of the 2023 annual meeting, they don't work. Okay.
This is all public
Okay, we're done.
information.
That's all I want to do.
That's a public information request
Yes.
that needs to go through the proper.
Well, no,
process.
he needs to submit it. This
Needs
is
to
not
submit
it. I just read it into the record, so.
Because
he sent it to the-
So we're
I
saying
was-
he didn't submit it properly, even though.
No, he submitted this correctly. I was a credential committee. He sent it on
Okay,
to his packet. We got it,
okay.
and it says, we'll put it on the agenda. We put it on the agenda. I read it into the record. He knows that these are PIA requests, and he needs to follow, Joe, he needs to follow our procedure of a PIA request. Move on to the next subject.
All right, now we've got left, well, I guess, Renee, are you there?
Yes, I am, for some reason, my machine is acting very, very strange, and the page I'm trying to get, what I do want to is, it's a one page, it's not even straight on my screen now, but it's the financial overview based on yesterday's accounts.
Okay,
You want to,
cool.
And unfortunately, I can only read it.
why don't we table that and you come prepared on March 12th to present that?
I can do that.
Let's do that.
Or you just want to run through some quick numbers for people, because they've been asking these questions. These came from our Tuesday.
I'll just give a couple,
Yeah,
just a couple of numbers.
Yeah, just a couple of numbers.
Our checking balance, as of yesterday in the evening, was $203,779. The money market account, both of these are ones that are maintained at First United Federal. The money market account is $195,996.
Is that where the co-bank
That's right.
funds live?
Yep. So, and Patty's cueing into exactly the important thing. CoBank's T's and C's require us to keep reserve funds separate,
Right,
and they're not separate,
not separate.
but so that you'll know, out of those, the CoBank covenant funds, 24,000 of that is required as CoBank's covenant. That's in the money market. The next is by our bylaws or someplace required emergency funds, which is 75,000, and that's in the money market funds.
75 is part of that money market?
It is part of the money market.
Do we have a good idea of how much money is left of the co-bank loans? And how much is gone, and how much that is gone was spent on its intended purpose?
Yeah, I can tell you how much is gone. I can't tell you whether it was spent on its intended purpose.
And the loan
We're working on it.
Loan started at what now, Renee? The co-bank started at where?
Yeah,
I don't think you can.
it's crazy. I can't imagine this thing. It's
Let's get into that detail, let them send you that detail.
yeah,
So,
Okay, budgeted?
but an important number, out of the money market, uncommitted money market funds, which means that's deployable by us, okay, that's in our funds, is 54,800 K and change. 54,807 is uncommitted money market funds.
Where is our membership fee? We should have $100,000, $110,000 in membership fees sitting in a reserve. Where is that?
$92,000 is what the number is, and I talked to Renee about
Is
that on Tuesday.
Do we have it earmarked? Is it in a reserve account?
It's not to my knowledge.
Is it being commingled with our money? Is it in-
Very probably.
Is it in the, but it's not in the money market?
It's not identified in the money market, so maybe it's in
Let me just-
the checking account.
Yeah, let me just bring you up to speed. What we're supposed to have is all the membership fees that were paid on there, they're refundable. Like
Right.
$92,000, they need to be held in a separate account.
Like a
Judy, this is
separate
for you, a separate account, because if somebody leaves, they get their membership money back.
Right.
If all of a sudden everybody left, Windermere out, we gotta pay all the money back. So we don't know where it's at. Hey, don't look, Renee. You gotta find it. We didn't tell you all the landmines, Judy?
We'll work with it, we'll work. But,
We've been doing this together for a while, I can see.
yeah,
That's a big problem. No, that's a huge problem. We gotta find that 92.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta find it. Okay, is that as much as what you want to present right now, Renee?
And the CoBank loans, the total balance of the three is $581,201.
That's our loan obligation?
That's our loan obligation to them. Yep.
What is our payment each month?
That is,
Was that in that chart?
that's,
Is
yeah,
that in
that's,
this?
not in this one, that's in the,
That's okay, that's okay.
that's in the budget chart. Where's the budget
No
chart?
big deal.
We'll add that.
I don't want to hold us up.
Yeah, we need to move.
No big deal. Let's move on to the budget. Do
Okay,
we have a budget to present or no?
No, hang on.
I can give you that number.
Yeah, is that everything as far as bank accounts?
Yes,
Renee?
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a question. What do we do with the 38K? Did we deposit that? The one we got from the settlement?
That's right, that has not been deposited, I still have that.
Okay,
get
so
ready to talk about that.
That's another item, right?
that was you and Renee talking about it.
No, 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 I-
We on the board are gonna talk about it.
Yeah, no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, so that you know, Patty, the loan principal payments are right at 23,000.
A month? What?
No, that's total.
What are we paying a month?
I don't have that, I don't have that in these funds. I don't have that in these numbers too,
All
right?
right, okay, I'm good.
Okay, so can we table the rest of this discussion on the special board meeting? To get get better, to get
Well,
more checks? to
well,
get
we
better
should-
numbers?
We should actually look at the budget is what we should do.
That's right, exactly. And
So has anybody ever voted on this budget? The previous board, did they vote on a 2024 budget?
no,
Okay, so we're gonna have to vote on it, but obviously, I cannot vote on a budget right now
Yeah,
because
I can't vote on this. Well,
I just have to look at this.
Yeah.
We have to immediately, we have to present this to the membership because we're supposed to do it at the annual
That's
member
correct.
meeting.
that's
So
correct.
we're gonna be required to send this to every member, this budget.
We can do that. We can do that electronically, and we can also make sure that it's addressed in detail on the May the 18th, but that's too late. We need to
Okay,
get it
so will you
soon.
please, whoever does the agenda, please put this on the March 12th meeting?
That's what I was asking for the special.
Good.
and just give us an idea, Renee, heads up, is this, where do these numbers come from? Just
Yeah,
to get on the record, where,
exactly.
just on your proposed budget. That's all I
Right.
care.
The history, as you see at the top of the page, there's 22 and then 22 acted. There's a 2023 budget, first page,
Okay. That's
There's
what you
a
want?
budget column.
Got it.
and then there's an actual 2023.
Okay.
That, I built these numbers from his 55-page printout that he gave me.
If you have the manual.
All right, well, we're fine, because you're coming up, if this is correct, to 367,930 for a budget. And just based on my numbers for the rate appeal and the revenue requirement, I'm coming in at $360,000. So I'm off about 7,930 from yours, but I was lowballing it.
And my model took me 2.5 days to build this.
Yeah.
But we're very close. You're back of the envelope and
I'm
mine,
being very,
that we're that close. If we're doing 7, that's beautiful.
yeah, so, I mean, like I said, I lowballed it. I suspect that we'll be over that.
I think so too, because we don't have any revenue that's been estimated for the standpoint of new taps and that kind of stuff. We don't have any revenue that's generated for an increase on the equity buy-in.
Well, it's not gonna be that much,
Okay.
but.
Okay, well, I will look over this.
Please do.
Be prepared to
Please
talk
do.
about it at the
Yep.
next meeting.
Yep,
Okay, I have it marked to be on the agenda for the March 12th special.
yep.
It goes to
Yep.
Sue.
That's it.
Okay.
Basically.
Also, the budget should change too, because our extra line fees need to be changed.
Which one? The,
Equity buying fees, but we gotta get it approved.
oh, yes.
We'll talk about that as well.
Yep.
You want me, what else am I adding on the 12th? The tariff thing again?
Yeah, buying fees.
Oh, that's right, the tariff resolution, because that will be able to make that.
We have a
condition
tariff
on March
resolution,
7th.
and then we wanna make another two on the tariff would be the equity buying fees. I'd also make a recommendation to split them, sewer and
All right.
water.
Yep.
And then, Julie,
Okay,
the other one is the usage rate.
okay, wait, we're skipping around, so where are we on the agenda right now?
We're done, 14's done.
Okay,
14's done,
13
13's
we
done.
did, we haven't discussed the 13.
Yeah. No, that, I just did. It was the $38,000.
Yeah, but we haven't, you were just reminded. me.
Oh,
We
okay,
haven't-
okay.
We haven't discussed it.
you want to take that out of those?
This
Well,
one?
all I wanted to do on it was, you pick up a check.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd rather not table it, because I think you need to abstain if you would have it on this one. On 13.
What?
You might
I don't know what you're gonna
should
be talking about.
That's okay.
I can't abstain until I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
I love it, the logic is good. And as it turns out, so coming out of the Toma stuff, there were 2 checks that were held for a long, long time and then just picked up. One of them goes back to the Toma legal fees, and the other one is discretionary, or it comes to WOWSC. The value of that check to WOWSC is roughly $38,000. Okay? My suggestion, and I'm going to make a motion, that knowing that the ratepayers crew and the support team put significant funds out of their pockets to be able to derive the benefits of the base reductions for the members. I believe that you guys should not be paying that out of your pocket. So my suggestion would be, to the degree that statements can be presented that would help us get somewhere close to that information, that value should go to the ratepayers. And here's a document.
So what you're saying is you want to allocate the $38,000 to help supplement
To
their work
the full degree that statements. So this statement work that came in from Griffith Davison, the total amount, part of it's still outstanding, $8,300, but the sum of the invoiced amounts are $31,539. I believe that those discretionary funds should be allocated to the ratepayers for payment of this. And if there are any other, for instance, for instance, other folks that have invoices for stuff that they put into the effort for the ratepayers reduction attack, those should be quantified as well and go into that. Because I think this should go back to the folks who are willing to bite the bullet and fight for the company.
I make a motion to table this until 12. Well, I think the members got to see this.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Can you open for discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Chuck?
I mean, well,
My question is those checks made out to the WOPOA, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's made to WWSC.
Right.
The
So they're made out,
38.
so they come in, well, you said that fits to the 85-15 rule, that we don't have to pay taxes on it because it's underneath that number.
It's a small number, yeah.
Okay.
But you're right, it's up to the board to make a disbursement of that. It can be invoiced or non-invoiced, but we have those values.
well, I'm flattered, and
You shouldn't be flattered.
it was,
You're a hard-working son of a gun, what do you mean?
yeah, there is outstanding legal invoices, but,
Yeah,
so, I mean, one thing you guys know about me, I'm all about doing what's right.
Yes.
Integrity, and following the law.
that's
So,
right.
one of my concerns here is that we are a nonprofit corporation and tax implications here. Receiving this money, number one, is coming, it's what they call money received from a settlement. And so there's tax implications on receiving it, number one, and then turning around and paying it out is another one. So I think before anybody would even vote on that you guys really need to look at that. And I mean, I wouldn't want to take the money, honestly. I wouldn't recommend Josie take the money either. If you guys want to do this, you pay the law firm yourself. I don't want to touch any money at all. I don't want any money coming to me.
Oh, okay, so I hear where you're coming from. So
I would recommend that.
Exactly, so based on this, I'm going to the chase, based on this, the WOWSC could write it directly to the Griffith Davison guys, and then ask them to, whatever's been paid, to refund
I think you have
it.
the wrong law firm here too.
Yeah, whoa. I think you got to present this to the members.
I'm not saying we don't.
Yeah.
We're in discussion now.
Okay.
I'm not saying keep it
I
private, I'm just saying.
hired two law firms actually to
Okay.
represent me.
Yeah?
And this was basically for the removal petitions,
No,
right?
No.
This was
I
for-
just assume y'all table this because this is like,
Yeah.
sitting kind of really weird
Okay,
for me
so-
right now, so if we could just
We have a motion to table it.
table this and.
Table it until the 12th.
Yeah.
Motion. So what meeting you want to put it on?
Yep.
The 12th?
On the,
It
Okay,
makes
all
me
those-
feel a little uncomfortable right now.
okay.
I didn't know this.
But-
I didn't know this.
I know, I'm catching a flat-footed, but you have other expenses as well.
I did, but Ann Hamilton graciously said she was gonna start a GoMe fund, so, let's talk about this at the next meeting, please.
Okay,
I
we
feel
can.
uncomfortable
We
with
can.
this.
But the thing is, that the idea is this is above board, it's still part of an open meeting, and the stuff that the board is discussing, it says it's absolutely
Okay.
legal to discuss. Whether we like it or not, we can discuss this on the board.
It's legal to discuss, but you're talking about money that was a check written to the water corporation that you're thinking about diddling out.
But that's precisely why we discuss it here in an open board meeting.
I get it. I
I
understand.
think every board member needs to think about this.
Yep, just still is good. Great, okay, fine. Okay.
All those in
Table
favor
is
of
12 to
tabling
12.
it To the special meeting
To
on
the
the
12th.
12th?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
We're not voting.
Looking good.
I'm not voting.
Now what do we have left?
No, that's it.
Oh, so we had two to abstain.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Patty, if
Okay, we're
just,
adjourning
wait,
at
you, there's this,
6:21.
the,
Oh, wait a minute, I make a motion.
Hold on.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Second.
we
Okay.
haven't finished our activities.
Yeah.
And any discussion during adjournment, tables adjournment request by Robert's rules.
Okay.
I didn't know there was so much discussion.
We are.
All right, great.
Okay, she had
And Patty,
Done?
yeah, if you would look at the first page of the draft budget, there is a column that's there because it's on out of the,
I'll look at all of it.
yeah, but this is a specific one.
I'm gonna go see my mother.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
gotta-
we gotta adjourn this.
I told my mother the other place today.
Look at the line 48,000.
Okay, I will. I will.
Thanks, everybody.
What about 11G?